What is up, everybody? Logan here again. I'm joined by Halcyon and Vance, and today we're going to talk about the 3K to 10K challenge after week 2. Now, we had another fantastic week of a 5.13% return after having 22.17% last week. So combined, we're up still pretty well. Our planned account value this week was 4,000. We fell a little bit short of that. We had one losing trade, but we were actually able to manage it very well. So I'm still pretty happy with the week, as everyone else was pretty as well. So I'm excited to hear what you guys got for us.
Sounds good. I'll take the loser trade and talk about that one. So we put on a Beyond Meat, YND. We took on a Beyond Meat, a debit spread on that. And the idea at the time, this would have been on, I believe this is early in the week. I think it was maybe on a Monday. This might have been Monday this past week. There was momentum building into Beyond Meat, and we were going to see if we could push another percent or two above it and look to scalp out around 40 to 50 bucks on the Beyond Meat call debit. And as these things go, when we look at the price action in the charts, we definitely knew that we were sitting in the nosebleeds, but we were hoping that more illogical price movement would take place for another, just literally a couple more hours is what we're looking at. Naturally, as soon as we got in, it basically fizzled out and went sideways. And then we caught bait once it got about to right around half of a little less than half, maybe about 40% of what we paid for it. It was off. And we're like, yep, it's time to cut bait. It's not going to, the momentum's got out. We actually tried to put a call credit spread on it and tried a couple of times, but then it got filled, unfortunately, which would have made that a scratch trade, because you could have easily got 40 cents in that. It was a little bit of a high flyer. So that was Beyond Meat. That was the only loser this week. I think looking back at it, if we're saying what did we learn from that? The only thing I think we would have done is just said Beyond Meat is pretty extended. It's on a solid run here. The shorter time frames that we were looking at for that particular one, which on my view was the 30-minute and the 1 hour charts, definitely were up at the top end of their mathematical movements, their standard deviation movements, but it looked like they were ready to push one more time to the very top end of the channel, which at that point was about 165 or so. And we were sitting at 155, I believe, when we were putting this out. So if we could have got just to maybe even 160, it would have been perfectly fine, but a solid trade would have been 8 for 8 and on to the next one. So that was Beyond Meat. Again, I don't think I really would have done anything different. The risk management on that was handled appropriately. We said 50% was going to be our stop loss on that, or if we had any kind of momentum loss on the indication, which we did, because shortly after we closed that, we went into a negative squeeze, which is just an indicator we're using for price momentum. And that fired short, which of course pushed it down to that 145-ish range. And again, had we gotten that call credit spread, which we were dead on correct of trying to pull the call credit spread once that call debit did not work, that would have came out to a scratch, maybe a small $10 win at the end of the day when everything added up. But oh well, like I said, trading isn't about being 100% accurate. Trading is about being consistent and taking the setups when they come to you and playing your setup and price action. So that's what we did, and that's what happened on that one. You got the next one, Vance. What's our next trade? We had Amazon, Iron Condor, Rut.
Yep, our two big winners of the week were an Amazon Iron Condor. We actually ran 2 of those, and it was kind of perfectly set up because Amazon was running high most of the week. I think we had gains Monday through Thursday. Were all gains, and Thursday was a huge gain day for them. Like I think they were up 60 points. But there was a lot of accumulation of resistance. And so a little bit past midday on Thursday, we put up an Iron Condor. And I know a lot of people were like, you guys are crazy. You're putting an Iron Condor into something that's been rising, 4 days in a row. But, one of the nice things about that is it made the call side very, very, there was a lot of premium in there because, that expectation of higher move was there. So we were able to get into a good Iron Condor, about 75 cents credit total, I believe. And we ran 2 of them, and those both of them closed, for max value, which was awesome. We also had a Rut trade, the index fund for the Russell 2000, and and that actually went really well for the week. That was really never stressed. There was a put credit spread, and I mean that one just it rode the whole week pretty much in the green with no issues at all. I know we tried to kind of replicate that with IWM, which is the ETF for the Russell 2000, and that one actually was underwater for a little bit. There was a lot of stress on that one, but that one we ended up closing for a profit. So if you couldn't have run the index fund rut, you still got out green with the IWM. So I mean overall it was a good week. I think we made some solid trades, some solid moves, and like Halcyon said, you don't have to hit a home run every time. You don't have to buy a call that makes 1,500%. Base hits will win the day. All you have to do is win more than you lose, and just when you do lose, you lose less than when you win.
Yeah, so
and that's kind of indicative of what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, dead on there. So I think that's one of the key items to remember is, where we're obviously playing the probabilities here. We're looking at some technical indicators. We're looking at a lot of price action, and we play the probabilities based on the setups that are given to us. And, sometimes you get all kinds of setups that are there. I think in the non-small account challenge, we definitely took a couple Amazon put credit spreads throughout the week, and those were just printing money left and right. I think from a bigger picture, if we look forward to next week, some of the plays that are setting up and some of the things that we're going to be doing is continuing to look for some iron condors. We've been looking at doing some 1 day to expiration put credits and call credits, sometimes iron condors. Where we think the index is going to, again, it's been great for that because the index has been hardly moving day after day. I mean, maybe at the very end of the day, but you get to suck all that premium out during the bulk of the morning into the early afternoon trading. But otherwise, I think for me, I'm still looking at Amazon to keep pushing in next week. I think more put credit spreads will likely happen on that for us. There's so much premium there. We have a really good technical setup for more upward price movement. Even though we had whatever that was, we started the week at, what was this? We started the week sitting around like 3170 or so, and we finished at nearly 3350. So it's a pretty solid point move. But that really isn't all that overextended based on what I'm seeing on the price action. So I think we have opportunity to push up to 30, back up to try to test the high. That's my guess. We'll eventually do that here in the next 2 weeks on Amazon is what I would take. Maybe even if it gets cooking next week, it might even try to do it next week, but definitely I think we'll see a lot more put credit spreads happening there. And then one other thing we're also looking at doing is doing a little bit of hedging and paying attention to the market feels a bit overextended here at the all-time highs. But the price action, and at least where I'm viewing it from what I see, it doesn't look extended, which is weird to me, is that it feels like it's extended, but it doesn't price action look super extended. And so, we'll see what we can do. And I think, some of the Vance iron condors or iron flies that we've been doing may come into play again a few times, and we'll see if we can keep pushing. I'll be fine if we can keep grabbing 5% a week on the portfolio.
Yeah,
I'll be
absolutely.
okay with that. No problem with that. So I think that's what our game plan is next week is, again, keep selling premium. If we do get a really good long setup, we'll look at doing a risk controlled long setup where we're not getting eaten alive by theta killing us. We actually have one on Airbnb next week it's not in the small account challenge, but it's a risk controlled long setup that is giving us a 7-to-1 on the reward versus the risk we're taking set up there. So we'll see if that plays out in the main room, but there you go. That's what I'm thinking we're going to have heads up. So probably another 5%. We do have one position right now, DocuSign, that's getting tested, and we'll see how it opens up on Monday. We may have to roll that one.
Yep.
But I do think they're very extended, and there is a lot of premium on the call side that we'll get here either this week or get it the next week, one of the two.
Yeah, even
Yep.
This week's premium looks fantastic. I was looking at that options chain, but I love the plays this week, especially the Amazon Condor. I think we got 7% on that overnight, right? So that's such an exciting trade. Like all the 1 DTE plays have been so nice.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about Amazon is Amazon, has so much premium. You don't even have to sit there for the whole week. You can put on a trade, and usually within a day or two, you can close it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can just change your strikes and put another one on, and you can almost play Amazon like it trades 5 days a week because it has such movement. I've even been looking at maybe doing like a reverse iron condor on it because whatever the strikes are Monday morning, they probably aren't going to be the strikes on Friday afternoon. It's going to move so far one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a good play as well.
Yeah, I like that. I think, and then for maybe we'll take like a small little piece of learning that we've had this week, because we do have in Discord where we're giving all these call outs and letting people follow along on this in real time. And so I guess there's two things. That one, just know that we are not filling orders and then sending the orders 5 or 10 minutes later and saying, hey, get into these things. We submit them to you guys and then we all try to fill at the same time, so we're not like front running anybody.
Right.
But the other thing too is like just a little element that we, as we look at some of the newer traders that are in the Discord that are just either new to options or still in the process of kind of honing the psychology of trading, is on Friday when, so Thursday we called out that Amazon Iron Condor, and Friday morning, like probably 10 minutes before the open, the pre-markets, we have people were, freaking out a little bit about Amazon being, what was it even? I don't even know. It was whatever direction it was. It was, I think, slightly down, maybe.
Like 3 points.
No, I think it was up 10 points in pre-market because that was some of the DMs I was getting was like, oh my God, it's going to run again today, and I was like, relax.
Yeah, relax. And just a good rule of thumb on pretty much any spread you're doing, basically anything. I think, in my personal opinion, what you should do on virtually everything you're doing. With the exception if you have some weird, super complicated position that requires, a lot of tending to it. But looking at the market, that first 15 to 30 minutes it's amateur hour with people getting manipulated on their emotions. And it happens all the time. You have this weird quick push in the first 15 minutes, almost usually the opposite direction where the market's going to go the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And people get shook out of positions so frequently on that first 15 to 30 minutes. For me personally, I usually do not look at the market in terms of what it's currently doing until about 10:30. And then I think that's really where the actual what it's going to be doing for the day is more likely statistically than what it is in that first 15 minutes. And I just think, as you were mentioning Vance and as Logan and I had a couple of them, not near as many as you guys did, but even in the main option chat where people were talking about it, there's a lot of, oh my God, like it's up 10 points, it's up whatever, it's going to run through the top end of the call side. And, and I actually didn't even look at the chat until about 10:30. I was like, what is everybody freaking out about? It's literally flat on the day. What am I missing here? This is hilarious. And I never, and I don't go through that stress because I don't even look until about half hour after it opens. Mm-hmm. Unless there's some crazy news thing going on. But that's, as a rule of thumb, I think that most traders would do much better if they one, hide their account value so they can't see what the value is on the P&L, and then two, they don't pay attention until after the first 30 minutes in terms of evaluating a position to close it or whatever the case, or even open it.
Right.
That's my thoughts.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and definitely not open. I mean, I generally will never open a position in the first 30 minutes of the day. It's just the pricing on options is so crazy. Occasionally, if I see something spike up, I'll sell it. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, overpay for something because pricing is bouncing all over the map in the first 30 minutes of the day.
No, I hear you on that one. I think that is again just a sort of a rookie mistake, and it's letting your emotions control what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing, and the emotions will betray you over and over and over again, which is a lesson that, for whatever reason, takes a lot of people a long time to figure that out. Getting the emotions out. It's mechanical price setups, and you just play your setups, and the odds will eventually work out. It's just a matter of being consistent with it.
Awesome. Well, is that everything you guys want to touch on?
Yep, I think so.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be everything for us, guys. We appreciate all the support as always. If you guys want to follow along with the challenge, the link is in the Discord below. But I appreciate you guys coming on again for another one, and we will see you guys in the next one.